Welcome back to Lutherans Alive. With us today is Pastor Joyce Dix-Weiers of the Elderton Parish in Armstrong County. Joyce, again, thanks for being with us today. In the first segment, we were talking a little bit about becoming pastor of a two-point parish. Folks who are interested in mission and ministry and needing some guidance in terms of how to get involved in that. And we talked about the health kits. That was kind of the first round and the first experience, and that gave you the opportunities to get involved in some other things then, didn't it?
Oh, it sure did. The next year we decided to also look at Lutheran World Relief and look at layettes. And we were able to put together 100 layettes that we sent off to Lutheran World Relief. And of course we were looking for our annual shopping trip to New Windsor.
And what goes into a layette?
Well, a sleeper and diapers and things that you would naturally think about for a newborn or an infant.
Okay.
And so many places that diapers just, and those kind of things just aren't as readily available. And that is a gift for a new mom to think about how she has something, a sweater and something to keep her baby warm.
Sure, and again, some of the most basic needs for
Absolutely.
a newborn starting off in life.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the feedback that you get from the folks who are involved in putting together the kits and seeing the blessings and the benefits that are being shared then as they're going out for distribution?
Well, actually, I see a hunger for what can we do next.
Okay.
The next year, then, we decided to go back to health kits, but I told them if they did 100 the first year, they had to up it by 10%. Isn't that the rule? So, which would have made 110, but we made 121 health kits. So that was great. And this is this year's project. And we have a bucket here, the flood buckets, that's going to be sent to in cooperation with the United Methodist Church program that they have. Our country has been hit very hard between Katrina and Rita and Iowa and Washington and Florida with floods that have come from storms or rivers. And so there's a need for cleanup. And so this year we have been working on flood buckets. It's real easy if you feature one item a month. And then people just bring those in, and then we kind of put those together. And it's been fun to watch them grow. This is taking some room, and we've kind of laughed because it's taking more room.
Well, certainly, you know, the bucket provides the container for a lot of things to go in, but they are a little bulkier than folded cloth like a layette, that sort of thing. But as you say, I think we've become more and more sensitized to the needs after a storm like Katrina that has left a lasting need. And then, as you also mentioned, there are so many places around our country and around the world where another storm doesn't wait for the last one to be cleaned up.
You're
and
right.
The needs continue.
Right. Mississippi is a good example of that. We know that our Synod has sent people down to Mississippi for the last several years. And I know that was a challenge for our people to say, why don't we think about going down there too? Well, when we said mission, we were kind of thinking more local. But we had 10 people that went down this year. We had a van and went down, and what a great time. And they came back so energized, and they're talking to the other parishioners, telling them they have to go next year. So I'm not sure how many we'll have, but we will have a trip again down to Biloxi. You know, the Lutherans are still there and have made a commitment to be there. Only about 40% of the work is done from Hurricane Katrina, so there's a lot to do.
I know people are asking, you know, how much has been done and how much is there left to do, and a lot of people find it difficult to believe that there can be years worth of work still to be done. But that's one of the things that I find encouraging is that Lutherans in our synod have made the commitment that we'll continue to go back as long as there is work that needs to be done. And so it's encouraging that congregations like yours are catching the Spirit, are inspired and ready not only to go themselves, but then to encourage others to get involved as well.
It was such a wonderful trip because we were able to stop at the Lutheran Church in Knoxville, and we've made some great friends there. I just emailed one of the people last night, and that has made a connection with other people of faith on our journey. And it is so important, too, that even though we worked on 2 different houses, we were split as far as teams go, we were able to each one talk to the owners of those homes and hear those personal stories about their experience through the hurricane. And that it really touched our hearts and made us all the more committed that there's so much work to be done, but we are coming to bat.
And I think that's a very important point to make. Not only is there the physical work that needs to be done, but there's the emotional and the relational work that gets done as well. When you actually do touch another life, when you get a chance to hear a story, and they get to have that firsthand contact with someone who cares enough to leave your place, your time, and to go and make that personal connection with them.
Oh, it was a wonderful experience. Every person that went on that was just so happy that they were able to do that. And their stories are just so great. And they came back so energized to tell other ones, you've got to go next year.
That kind of anticipates the next question that I wanted to ask, and that is, as you begin to see over the longer haul, people in the congregation catching that sense of the wider mission of the church and seeing themselves getting involved in making a difference, how does that change the climate or the tenor in the local congregation in terms of people getting together and feeling like they're the church and really coming to appreciate what they're able to do?
Well, I can see a big difference as when I came there as, well, we're just a country church and there's nothing that we can really do, and maybe we can send a little money, but there's not really much, to now as, wow, look what we have done and let's see what else we can do. We have gifts that God has blessed us with, and where can we use them, and what else is out there to do?
Mm-hmm. That's an exciting vision to catch as an individual and as a congregation. And it certainly can be inspiring when others catch the spirit, when others see what can be done and want to join in and become a part of it as well.
Oh, you bet. It's wonderful to see that.
Joyce, we were talking a little bit before the program as well. On a previous visit, you were with us and talking about celebrating some of the family events in the congregation as well. And you were talking about celebrating things like baptisms with families. What's your sense of how celebrating those kinds of events as a congregation together helps the spirit of celebration in a congregation also?
Well, those are all such big life passage events, and having that come into the congregation and lift that up is a wonderful time. Our church is about community. God did not make us to live as individuals, but to live in relationship with one another. And when things happen to one another, we need to be there for one another, for the joys and for the difficult times also. Living in community is so important to who we are as people of God.
It's all what life in ministry is about.
Oh, you bet.
We're actually at the point where we need to take our second break of the program. We're going to pause for just a moment, and we'll be right back.